Hello, 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 everybody. Oh, again, it's in the wrong spot. How you doing, everybody? No, no. Every time, keep on bumping this camera. That's a bit better, and that background is horrible. How you doing, everybody? How's everyone doing? Welcome to the stream. Let's see if I can, like, make the text visible. There we go. Need a better solution for this chat window, I think. How you doing, everyone? End of light, I'm good. I'm doing all right. It's my arm, keep up the great work. I will try. I'll try my best. What's all you can do, right? How's your week been, everyone? What you been up to? What's been happening? Trying to think what I've been doing this week. Worked a bit on Falling Frontier. Worked on some combat music. I don't know, just a little bit of admin this week. Getting contracts finished and things sorted. You're on YouTube today, Aslina. This is confusing. Mixing it up. That's okay. I guess we'll make do with that. Yeah. What's been happening? Just surviving, guys. It's surviving this like crazy period of like all the releases happening at once. So the big news this week, I guess, for me is that like at Menace is which is a game that I scored the music for, is coming out into early access this week on February 5. It's like Thursday. Which is crazy. They're actually, and the soundtrack is also coming out the same day. So it's something I really haven't like pushed that much, but there is a thing where you can go. I've got a thing here. Here we go. I'm gonna put this in the chat for YouTube as well, so you can click on all the things if you want. So you can pre-save the soundtrack, you know, because that's apparently a thing. It's apparently a thing now, but it'll be available everywhere on February 5, and you can get the game and play the game. I'm really excited, and I think I actually might try and schedule a stream where we play the game. And I'm really bad at it, so you get to see how horrible I am. I need to watch. There's a few people who've put out like beginner's guides for Menace, so I think maybe I need to watch some of those. See if I can get a better idea of what I should be doing, because it's a little out of my comfort zone. This game, at least for me, it's very challenging. I sucked at the demo, although I did manage to get through the demo on the easiest setting at one point. But it's like I don't know. Sometimes it works out, sometimes it does not. There's a little bit of, you know, scenarios not playing out how I imagine they should, so I die very quickly sometimes, and that's fine. That's fine, I guess. Composing is euphoric and distinct. Thank you. That's really nice. Thank you. Appreciate it. Yeah, so that's the big thing this week. And then next week is the Elder Scrolls album. So next Friday, the full release of Elder Scrolls. Music for the Elder Scrolls comes out, which is my album of arrangements of music from across the Elder Scrolls series. So that's coming out. And yeah, and then I'm gonna like take the rest of the year off, I think. That's my plan. Hey, how you doing, Brendan? Yeah, so Menace, Elder Scrolls, and then things are cooking. I'm starting possibly I'm starting work on a new game this week, but we'll see how that goes, I guess. I look happy. I am happy. I am very happy. It's weird, the weird life that we lead. I used to, do another career. I had a science career, and it's still kind of weird that I'm back in music. Still, like, it's now been like, I think I left Sweden, which was where we were doing the science back in end of 2023. It's not like it's been just the other day. It still feels weird though. Still feels weird. So today, guys, we're going to work on a stream song that we've been chipping our way at the last couple of weeks, and it's taking its time to get there. And I haven't actually worked on it off stream, so I pretty much just left it as it was where we left it last stream. So I'm hoping that we can at least find the end today. That would be the goal. Fingers crossed we can do that. But we'll see how it goes. See how it goes. We never know. Like, take a detour. But it's very moody. It's very moody. It's got a little bit of a maybe fantasy vibe, but it's also just very sort of, ambient, orchestral sort of feelings. Very, very, very moody. How many Swedish words did I learn? I learned ursäkta, jag talar inte svenska. What do you think that means, guys? It means sorry, I don't speak Swedish. Yeah, it was a weird time in Sweden. We were there. So the first year when we got there, which was the end of 2018, we were sort of like, just getting comfy, getting used to being where we were. And then the idea was to get, start learning Swedish and everything. And then the pandemic happened, and a lot of things just stopped. So a lot of the classes just kind of stopped. And they went to an online thing in some places, but I don't know, it was just hard to get access to them, and then we just kind of gave up after that. And when we lived in a town where it's like a university town, which is Umeå, which is the north, in the northern-ish of Sweden, and but it was like everyone spoke English really well. As soon as they understood that you were a non-native Swedish person, they just immediately switched to English. So it was never a thing. Excellent. You understood me, Brendan. That's good. Hey, Danka, how you going, man? I'm feeling pretty good, to be honest. Feeling pretty good. Remember, you gave me some advice on soundtracks ago, and writing did improve. That's awesome. Good to hear, buddy. That's very good. Enjoy sleep. It's my island. Yeah, I really got to find some better times for the European folks. This ain't an ideal time. You should be in bed. You should be in bed right now. Totally get it. But yeah, it's really good to hear, Danka. It's really good. Nice. Well, let's get started, I guess. Let's just get this rolling. I actually want to get this finished today, so we can master it and put it into the queue. Do all those things. Oh, let's bubble up. Hello. Found new music recently and loving it so far. That's awesome, number. Already planning including in music in upcoming video. Yes. Thank you. That's good to know. Good to hear. Sorry. We did it. Oh, thank you, Denka. Thank you, mate. I hope I can, hope I can, if you ever need help, you can just ask a question and I can help. I think we've all got to, composers that kind of live these sort of weird, isolated lives. So it's good to be able to like have people to interact with sometimes, I think. 4 years. Wow. It's a long time, buddy. It's a long time. Okay, have I done the routing? It's all connected up properly. Yeah. Because I haven't touched this since last stream, so this should be all good to go. Let's have a listen. So what follows on from here? It's a nice middle section, actually. It's very, very restrained, and I actually like that. I like that. Aralara, how you going? It's the demo. The demo, I don't know. This is just a track I'm working on for the library. So yeah, just something very moody and nice and quiet. Hey, what key are we in? Pretty little dulcimer. Oh, thank you, number. It's a mood. It's a mood. I think this one I was thinking of doing some sort of bigger backhand, but maybe I should just like keep the mood down, I think. Like I don't often do that. I often like if I've got a theme going, like I want to develop it into this big, very epic version of it in the final sort of part of the track. It's like I don't always have to do that. Not everyone actually likes that when I do that as well. It makes it actually a little bit less useful for general like placements in like YouTube videos because the mood changes quite a lot when you do that. So I should actually just restrain myself a little bit. You know what I mean? Make two versions, or maybe that's too hard though. Thank you, Xerox. Okay. On another note, guys, I've actually started reading Lord of the Rings for the first time. So I'm in the Fellowship of the Ring at the moment. Which is fun. It's actually really good. Like I wanted to like every year you get this sort of compulsion to like go back and watch the films. Particularly I don't know, Christmas time. It was like that time like it was around like Christmas time when they came out every year when they were coming out. And it's like you got this sort of build up this association with Christmas time and summer because I'm Australian. Summertime with Lord of the Rings for some reason. And so you get this sort of like, oh, it's time to watch Lord of the Rings again, guys. But this time it's like, no, I haven't read Lord of the Rings, so this time I'm going to read it. So I've started reading it. And it's fun. I'm actually enjoying at least the opening stuff. Like all the Hobbiton stuff kind of, it drags. It's a bit boring to me. But I'm actually enjoying reading it more than I am watching it, to be honest. Or at least it makes it a little bit more fresh. And there's little things that you come across, that I guess don't translate into the film because it's like just extra. It's too much information, You need to cut some of the fat out to make it a streamlined experience for a film. But there's like little things. There's little things. Like, what was the thing I noticed? Oh man, now I've forgotten. This is disappointing. Oh, but the fact that I don't think it gets covered in the film, but the opening of of Fellowship of the Ring, where they have the party, Bilbo's party, and it's like his 111th birthday, whatever it is. But it's also the same. Frodo has the same birthday, and he's turning 33, which in their little culture that means he's come of age. That's the thing as well. That's actually an important thing, but that doesn't really get. I don't know if it gets mentioned. Maybe it's a little sort of one line thing if you weren't paying attention. But it's like that's a thing too. That's a thing too. It's Frodo's thing. You know. So it's like there's the tiny little things. Tiny little things like, okay, that's nice and fresh and new. It'll start slow but feel worth it. Yeah, I can imagine. Do you listen to my music by reading? No, 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 no. I think that would make it much harder to read. Yeah. I actually don't listen to much music in my life. I've got to make time for it. But the problem I have is that a lot of people put on music to do something. You know, cook or read or study. Like they use a lot of music to create this sort of, I guess, noise background for them to work against. I cannot do that. Every time I got music on, I'm listening to it. Like I'm listening to the music. I can't do whatever other things I need to do because I'm listening to the music. I'm getting distracted, and it's very frustrating because I want to just put on music to do stuff, as everyone else does. I want to be a normal person. I can't do it. And so in the end, it means I don't listen to enough music because I've got stuff to do. And if I put music on, all I'll do is I'll sit down and listen. So that's my thing. It's my annoying thing. How long does it usually take to finish a track? It's a good question. I mean, it really depends on the kind of track it is. Um, it's somewhere between like it can be like 5 hours. Like I can finish something in a stream and then just like clean it up afterwards and it's done. And that's usually like more ambient tracks are very easy to, or not easy, but they're quicker to write because you're sort of building you're building layers that are morphing out over time, and there's only so much music you can, write for ambient stuff. You could write that, I guess you can make an ambient track as long as you want. Like some of the ambient tracks written for Falling Frontier are 12 minutes long. Uh, but yeah, how long does a library track really need to be? So that's a quick way to write something, I guess, for the library, is doing some ambient things because you can just sort of build layers very quickly and have them sort of morph very slowly over time, and then all of a sudden you're at 6 minutes and it's done. But the more orchestral it gets, like fairly sort of finicky writing, particularly like the big, like more battle sort of style tracks, or more tracks that are trying to emulate like John Williams-y sort of writing. That sort of, that more complex orchestration, that can take forever. It could take you forever to get just a 3 minutes, of music, like maybe 20 hours if you really get in the weeds. So it depends, I think. Depends on the track. That said, I feel like some of those are sometimes more rewarding for myself because you sort of feel the work put into it. But doesn't always translate. Not everyone pays attention to that kind of thing. So you put on Manchester Orchestra, the silence, and sit down is that the album, the Silence? And sit down with closed eyes and really appreciate the beauty of it. Nice. Oh, it's a song. Okay. So when when reading or when I'm trying to do stuff, I usually just if I want to put something on, I'll put a podcast on, um, or I'll just put nothing on. Just you know, have my brain doing what it needs to do and think about things and dwell on horrible things whilst I'm cleaning the bathroom, that sort of thing. But the other day, actually, I did trying to do a bit more cardio in my life. Sadly, uh, so I was doing an incline walk on a treadmill the other day, and I actually listened to the June Awakening soundtrack just for 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 fun. I actually listened to it. So maybe my thing needs to be I need to go and do a walk and listen to music. That should be my purposeful listening time. Maybe that's what I'm doing. What instruments do I play? Only pretty much piano, orangutan. I learned on piano as a kid. I'm not a very good pianist though. Like I was a good pianist. I used to be. Um, but I have not practiced enough to maintain my skills that I had as a 17-year-old. um, but I have enough. It's enough sort of muscle memory to actually it helps a lot with writing. I feel because a lot of my programming of my music it's all about the performance. I feel like a lot of getting a good performance out of the instruments and having a bit of keyboard skill is good. I think so. It's helped me a lot there. I dabble with guitar, and I'd like to learn how to play the violin. My a couple of maybe like 10 years back, it got revealed to me that my parents have my great grandfather's violin up in the cupboard just out of the blue. Didn't know it was there my entire life. It's in disrepair, but it could easily get fixed, I think, and I would love to learn how to play it. So that would be on my list maybe this year to start learning how to play the violin. And I also want to learn how to play the clarinet. I really want to play the clarinet. It sounds such a beautiful sounding instrument. I might turn it up so I can't hear it. Might trim that there. Okay. Okie dokie. Whoop. Okay. Okay. Piano with the best for writing out parts, yeah. Piano never really clicked for you? That sucks. But yeah, I mean, I still know plenty of people who write amazing music that don't play piano. So um, don't let it be a limitation for you. It's a lot of stuff that is geared. It's like very geared, like input methods definitely are geared towards using keys and whatnot. And that's a little bit frustrating, I imagine, for non-piano players. Okay. Good, 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 good. Okay. Do we need timpani? Like some lower... What's the bass doing here? Slowly chugging away. I might bring it up a little bit. So we need cello. Cello's doing nothing. Enjoy your sleep, Brandon. Thank you. Good to see you. Oh, my pecs are really sore today, guys. My trainer did horrible things at the gym yesterday. Very stiff. Oh dear. Thank you, Selena. Pretty maniac. Okay, go on. Enjoy shopping. Maybe there needs to be more of like a Sordino or whispers even. What are they doing? What is So we've got these playing. These are the wisp. Okay, so the whispers are playing higher strings. We do cello whispers. More chord sort of bass things to go with the brass. Maybe. Okay. Maybe I'll load up another contact, load in. I really like the whispers from the Vista strings on the ensemble strings that we got recently that is very delicate and yummy, and maybe we can play with them here. Let's see how this goes. We'll go to there. Such a nice patch. Ugh. I'm so sorry, guys. I have no idea what just happened. That was really loud. Oh, oh my heart. Oh, I think sometimes what happens if I stop playback when I'm still holding a note on the keyboard, I think there's like a weird release thing. I hope you're awake, because you are now. Jeez. I'm so sorry, guys. Oh, do I do commissions for individuals or groups more often? I am doing it much more often now. Yeah, so I've been doing a long-term collaboration with um, an animator named Alan Becker and his team. He's got a really big YouTube channel, so I've been doing work for him for a long time. But I'm doing a lot more game stuff at the moment. So lots of games. That's what I've been sort of focusing on last year or so, I guess. And one of the games is actually coming out this week. It's coming out. It's called Menace. I'm gonna spruik it because it's happening. It's been so long. And the soundtrack is also coming out on the same day. So February 5, the game's releasing into early access. And then the soundtrack's also coming out on Spotify and all the places. So it's like that's been, half the year last year getting that sort of finalized. So yeah, it's finally coming out. It's very exciting. It's a big week. think I made a little boo-boo there. Being on the day where they make a track like Baldur's Gate 1 and 2. Did you ever hear my remix of the Baldur's Gate theme? I made this like, I don't know, over a decade ago, I think. It's an old track. But it's out there. What's it called? Hero of the Heartlands, I think. Hero of the Heartlands. It's 14 years old. It's very old. It is ancient, but here it is. You did a long time ago, yeah. Still holds up. I like it. It's not so bad. It's amazing how little you actually change over time. Sometimes when you listen back to some tracks. Did I do the trailer music? No, I didn't. No, I think that might just be library music. And then they had a cinematic made for the game that was also not me. It was more like I guess, sound design guy doing the music for that trailer for the cinematic. But the actual music is more, I feel like more like 80s, 90s kind of cinematic sci-fi. That was my pitch to them, and they were very happy with that. Um, so that's the vibe. On my own region, yeah, fair enough. Fair enough. I need a game. I need the game. I need the right game to do that with. Thinking about it, maybe I don't orangutan. I don't know. It's gotta be more one of those more orchestral fantasy stuff, and I don't know whether I've actually done something quite like Baldur's Gate. I guess I've done stuff that sort of maybe is with maybe in the I don't know. I have to think about that. Maybe no, this is a big gap. Maybe there's a big market for Baldur's Gate music now, particularly Baldur's Gate 3. That really sort of reinvigorated the franchise. Okay. Cube, how you doing? How you going? My friends don't quite grasp the concept of library music. What is it, please? Okay, well, in sort of, I guess it's called another way to call it is production music. So it's music that it's like it's designed to be placed in stuff. I guess. So in film, in advertising, it's that sort of background music stuff. But I guess in my instance, it's not very designed for that. Like it's not a pure production music library. It's kind of just me making music. Um, and making whatever I feel like. And so it's not very good production music, if you know what I mean. But it gets used a lot. So I've essentially just made a body of work. And I call it the library because it's kind of like a library. You can search in the library to find stuff that you want. So it's like going to the library and looking at the catalog and finding something that might be appropriate. And I allow people to use it and stuff. So that's as close as it gets to production music, I guess. But yeah, pure library music is like it's very very much purposely made music for placements in like film and TV and things like that. Yes, it was Dota. Yes, definitely Diablo 4 vibes. Yep. Hmm. Well, Diablo in general, I guess. Probably more early Diablo. I feel like more Diablo 1 and 2, those kind of vibes. Have a different kind of sound, I guess, to the new ones. Although 4 came back. 3 kind of went in its own sort of direction, I think. But Diablo 4 is kind of back to its roots again, I feel, which is good. Take flight, how you going? Native instruments going under. I know. It's a bit scary, actually. And it's made me take stock and realize how much of my sound is reliant on Native Instruments products. And it's like, what am I doing? What am I gonna do? Um, hopefully there's buyers. That's what I'm hoping. That the outcome is that someone else takes it on and the ship just keeps moving, you know? Um, Fingers crossed. I just don't want. I mean, I feel like maybe there's certain parts of Native Instruments that are safer than others. Like Contact is kind of the hub that keeps this music industry moving. So I feel like maybe that's gonna find a buyer very easily, but I'm worried more about the little things that I use. So I mean, I use these sort of synths that run off to the side like FM8 and Absinthe a lot. I use a lot of various parts of Reactor. There's all sorts of stuff and little plugins as well. Like I'm really deep into using like um, you know various delays and stuff for Native Instruments, and I don't want them to go anywhere. I don't want them to go. Can't sleep, take flight. Oh man, I'm sorry to hear that. Insomnia is the worst. What's your trick? How do you cure it? Love the commission a piece. I've been listening to tracks for years. That's awesome. Well, it's a bit hard these days. My schedule is kind of blocked out for a long time. That's the problem with it's like all these games that I'm starting to work on. They just kind of take up everything. But I'm glad I can still find time to write the library because we need that. We need the library to do its thing. We need to keep it chugging. You just suffer, man. I'm sorry, dude. I had bouts. I used to have bouts of insomnia, um, but haven't had it for a while. So fingers crossed. Kevin, thank you for the follow. How you doing, buddy? How you doing? Okay, maybe. So this section's mostly there. I think there's still a few things missing, but actually, maybe okay. Maybe one thing we can just bring in a very simple choir, very just high and ethereal. Let's try that. Try the uh Eric Whitaker. See how this goes. What's going on here? Is it just loading? What does that mean? Oh, okay. Very good. I don't think I've ever noticed the red flashing before. Maybe it always happens and I just have never paid attention. Where shall we run this through? A new bus, I guess. Why is there so many things? Reverb. Really gotta clean this up. It's half cleaned up. One day I opened up Cakewalk and half of the things got sorted into various categories for me, which is great. But half of them also haven't. So like the spaces two, spaces one got put into the reverb, but two did not. And I don't know why. I don't know who sorted it. Maybe a little distracted gremlin came in one day and decided to half sort, and then just got had to chase a butterfly or something and ran away halfway through the project. I think we want some floating sopranos. Is it long? All long. We might also add a little bit of replica because I just add replica to everything now. You use it like a reverb, but it's kind of a different kind of reverb than. It's kind of just very magical. A magical reverb. Get us a video that had multiple songs from the library. Would it be fun to upload? Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Yep. All you need to do is like say, you can say some generic credit like music by Scott Buckley or includes music by Scott Buckley. You don't have to list every track. And as long as the credit has Scott Buckley in there, it's good. You won't get claimed. You shouldn't. If you do, let me know. Conveys peace, exactly. Which one do you use? For some reason, I'm drawn to this rep, the first one. Mostly because I'm using certain presets. Because I'm a preset junkie. I need my presets, and I just go to them. So, Danny, how you doing? Sounded like Fable-esque. Hell yeah. You excited for Fable? I'm really excited for Fable. That showcase that they did looked phenomenal. I'm playing that game. Yeah, so are you, Enderblade? Can't make your own scenes for it. Yeah. I try. Sometimes I do get creative, and it does, and it does go well. Like, I should encourage myself to do more exploring. Gal Habibi, thank you for the follow. How you doing? But yeah, I just kind of particularly when you're working quickly, you just kind of I don't have time to experiment. So I just gotta get stuck in. That's where presets come in very handy. Zig, oh thank you. I try my best to look as beautiful as I can. Thank you, Vivi. That's awesome. I'm so happy. Michael Java, how you going, buddy? It's an old man gamer. Yes, excited for the follow up to the year 2000 original release. That was just 2000. Makes it feel like I feel like it was released in the like 70s or something. I can't believe I'm nearly 43 years old, guys. I can't believe I'm actually that old. It's insane. 43 years old. It's like when I was a kid, 43 was like knocking on death's door. What happened to Adobe Animate? What horrible things happening to Adobe Animate? Which door is this? This is Cakewalk. So this is a yeah, it's a one I've been using for years. So it's been here for a long time, but I think it never got the same traction as like Cubase or Logic and things like that. It's shutting down? Animate is shutting down. No. There must be so many animators using that. I wonder what Alan's been using. Yeah, this choir does sound very Eric Whittaker, yeah. Because it is, I guess. seems really like crazy to me. And to say that it won't be available, like that's so March 1st is so soon. That's oh my gosh. I have to ask Alan how they're doing. I'll have to check in their chit and check in their Discord how what the discussion is at the moment. Oh, how did I made a video already? Okay, I'll have to check it out. What is going on right now? Native Instruments is going down the toilet. Animate's been shut down. What is happening into this world right now? I think that goes too high. I agree, Daniel. I have to start buying every instrument of the orchestra and just recording every line now. What do you think of AVM AVM? I love it. I love it. I mean, I wouldn't be doing it if I didn't enjoy the animation. I would be scoring the music. I absolutely love it. I think they do. Alan doing a great job. And his team, of course. You know, realize Alan is not on his own anymore. He's got so many people. Got such a big team. There must be such. I wonder how he feels about all this. Like the having to, you know, transitioning from, you know, being essentially himself doing all the animation to like having essentially like a production studio. It's crazy. It must have been a challenging transition, I imagine. King Darby, how you going? Yeah, he totally does. Enderblade, yeah. He gets his elbows, he rolls up his sleeves and gets stuck into, yeah. Yeah, we're just talking about that, King Darby. I didn't know until it got brought up. It's very, and it's as I said, the timeline for it being so like March 1st. That's like next month. That's insane. No, Danny, I didn't end up doing the music for that. It was all done out externally, and they never approached me to do the music. So it was mostly sort of sound designy anyway, I guess. So that's fine. I think they end up using it. I think they're using it as part of the cinematic opening cinematic. So that's something. But yeah, game's out in early access this week, which is crazy. I'm gonna do the plug again because you know that's what I'm here for. And actually, it's not exactly what I'm here for. But I got a game I scored coming out this week, and the game is in early access on February 5. And the score is also coming out the same day on the OST on streaming platforms. So you can pre-save. There's a link there to pre-save if you really want to do that. It's apparently a thing, but you can just listen to it whenever you want, I guess. That's also fine too. Yeah, I'm gonna have to ask Alan how he's feeling about this. There's obviously gonna be solutions for him, um, but it'll require quite a big shift in their workflow, I'd imagine. Um, what a maybe is it one of these things where maybe someone else can pick it up? They'll sell the IP off or something. Hopefully, I don't know. Probably not. They'll like do what Adobe always does and just shuts it down. And yeah, what did someone say before? Yeah, Jay, you're saying incorporating more Gen AI stuff. Yeah, that's perfect. Hopefully, there'll be a bit of a grace period, so you can still use Animate for a while. Or is it just completely shut down from March 1st? Like you can't. I mean, I understand they won't support it, but hopefully they'll still be able to use it for a while. Because they've got, I mean, at least Alan's got tons of projects on the go. My gosh. Mitch, how you going? We're just talking about the bleak future of, various software companies doing horrible things to their customer bases. You hate Gen AI so much? I agree. Am I adjusting volume? I am. So I'm playing with the choir here. This is a choir. And I'm just kind of adding a bit more dynamic range, ebb and flow, and sort of making sure it doesn't stick out too much. Eric with a choir. All right, so what do we transition to here? What do we transition to? I might just bring up the violins a little bit. Daphne, thank you. Welcome on in. Welcome here. Try my best to stream every week. Sometimes it works. Okay, so maybe it's just need a little tag. Maybe it doesn't need to be a long final section here. Just something that sort of caps that off. Trying to remember the main theme. Mm-hmm. Do you listen to a lot of music for inspiration, or do you come up with music on the fly? Pretty much on the fly is my thing. As I was saying earlier in the stream, I don't listen to a lot of music these days, it is a problem. I do actually need to make more time for purposeful listening again in my life. But yeah, a lot of it's just kind of yeah, relying on this years of just doing music, I guess. Which means I start sounding a lot like myself after a long time. I do use a lot of imagery though. So like if I'm like a lot of my music is, you know, trying to tell some sort of story, even though it might just be, you know, more of a vibe than anything. But I do like I often go onto ArtStation and look for like cool artwork to kind of spark a story or a feeling in my head. So that's a thing I often do. Hmm. Um, hey Kenneth. Hey John. What was the name of this track? What will the name of the track be when released? I actually don't know yet. Does anyone have any vibe like ideas for the for a name for this track? I don't know. I'm really bad with coming up with names. Yeah, it's hard. It's very hard for me. It was the hard. Oh my god, coming up with track titles for the Menace soundtrack, which is coming out this Thursday, February 5. Uh, it was just so hard. It's just so hard. Um, yeah, I struggled a lot with that. Naming any piece of music is just blah. Sometimes there's like, you know, just a name that just pops in your head and it's perfect and that's it. Like you don't have to think about it at all. But I'm often having to think for a long time, which kind of sucks. Yeah. I did an album, you probably know that I did an album many years ago, which is called Afterwards. It was just like a bunch of piano improvisations, really. I don't know. It was just not much to it. And essentially the names of the tracks were the days that I did it. So like December 5 or whatever it was. Like it was just like that was it. That made life easier, you know. Should do another one of those albums. Or I need to go revisit that one because it was like my first attempt at like A, making an album because I hadn't really done that before, and B, writing in a more like uh it sort of birthed like sort of a part of my music writing that's that very that intimate sort of piano ambient sort of sound. I guess neoclassical, but not as well. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but that was the first time I tried that, and it's like there's some good ideas there, but it was also a little. It's a little jank when I hear it back, you know, because it's all still samples, so it's like I feel like I've gotten a little better at it. So maybe it's I can revisit afterwards, try again. You ever find yourself lacking in ideas for melodies and rhythms and the such? Yeah, totally. How do you combat those things? Um, I don't know. Sometimes it just takes like a bit more time to think about what I want something to be. Um, Often my like the things I find are like writing blocks in my head are actually to do with like extraneous things in my life. So I might be stressed about um, you know, a meeting that's coming up, um, or there's something in my life that's kind of making me feel anxious, and that's usually what's causing the block. It's not necessarily that I have a lack of ideas because I can always just throw something out there and it will work fine, right? Um, there's always that little pool of stuff in my head, and I can improvise, you know, fairly well. So I can do the writing part, but often I'm not in the right. It's often because I'm not in the right headspace. Something's in the way, you know. I need to talk to someone to clear up a. I have a question about something, and it won't. I won't. My mind won't rest until I know the answer. You know, it's those little weird things. So it's always being mindful of what's on my mind, you know, and making sure that I clear it out before I write. I, d- I have to admit, Chromie, there has been times where I've asked Copilot to come up with some ideas for me, and then I sort of use that as inspiration for naming tracks because it actually does help when. But also AI is really bad. Like the names that it does come up with are so generic. Like it's so bad. So yeah, sometimes it helps. Sometimes it's just like you're rolling your eyes. Hmm. I also really recognize that some of my best performing tracks, and also the ones that I resonate with most as well, have titles that are like kind of evocative. See, think of like this too shall pass, and I walk with ghosts. Like these are tracks that have really resonated with everyone, and with me. And I think that's the reason why it was so much easier to name those tracks. With something that's quite, quite poetic and ambiguous, but also sort of has an evocative sort of feeling to it. Those titles are really hard to find. Like they're really, yeah, you can't. Not every track lends itself to a title like that. But it's interesting how those things happen, like play out. Like it's titling is actually kind of an important part of this whole process. Yeah, exactly, Danny. Yeah, it's a good match, I think. Oh, cheers, Viafne. Yeah, that's what I like with streams. Like us composers, kind of sitting in our rooms, don't get to interact with other people very much, so it's good. It's good to be able to do this. Yeah, exactly right, Daniel. It's very easy to just beat you up, beat yourself up, and get out of that hole. But yeah, that's one thing I've noticed for myself. It's not necessarily that I lack the skill to do the work. It's something in my life that needs resolving, you know, and it's eating me away, and I need to deal with it. It's like yeah, there's some weird, like my brain goes into some sort of weird haywire mode. So if we go to Hardinger. ILM, I use Cakewalk Sonar. So it's not a very common DAW these days. Not that many people using it, um but it's been around for a very long time. Like I've been using it for over maybe 25 years now. Trying to think about realistic, maybe even more than that. Because I started using this in the early 90s. So yeah, it's a long time. It's a very long time. Um So it's been around for a while, but it never got the same traction as like Cubase and your FL Studios. But it's good. It's a good program. It's just it does exactly the same. It's just a different look, I guess. And it's still being supported. It's still going. It had a period there where the company Cakewalk was the company that used to develop it, and they got bought out by Gibson, which is like a much bigger company, and then Gibson went bankrupt. And so it was for a couple of like a year or two there, it was kind of floating in some, sort of gray area where no one was really supporting it. And but I was so like I have such a legacy of projects in Cakewalk that it's like hard for me to jump ship. I would have to. It would take a company going under and never having to use it again to do that. But then it got bought. It got bought by another company called BandLab, and BandLab has been developing it for a while now. And so I'm back in supported Cakewalk land. So I'll stick it out until they decide that they don't want to do it anymore. Since before it was even called Cakewalk, yeah. I used it when it was called Cakewalk Pro Audio 5. I think I've been using it since. So, and then it turned into Sonar, and then uh, and then it went back to Cakewalk again. Cakewalk by BandLab when BandLab brought it out, and then it's back to Sonar again. So I don't know, it's going everywhere. Felt your composing skills dissipate this week. Being snowed in. Looking forward to inspiration spring. Oh, I'd find that so inspiring, Daphne. To be honest, unless you'd lost power, that would be kind of uninspirational. But oh man, that'd be so. That feeling of I don't have the pressure to be anywhere because I can't get out of my house. That'd be so nice. Connor, thank you. I'm glad you like it. How quickly is this? I'm gonna listen to the theme back here again. Okay. Oh wait, did I do that too early? Wait a sec. That's awesome, mate. Should be hard to make movies soundtracks. Yeah. I do prefer staying at home. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I'm working a lot of games at the moment, so that's my thing. Making OSTs for games is currently the thing, which is great. It fits me perfectly. I don't have to go anywhere to do anything. And that said, I'm gonna do it again. I'm sorry for anyone who's been putting up with this all stream, but I'm my first like a game I've been working on called Menace. It's coming out this week into early access, and you can get the soundtrack. It's coming out the same day, February 5, and all the platforms. Go listen to it when you can, and you can like pre-save it if you want to. If you want to do that. But it's happening, guys. It's happening. Have you seen Timeless of the Future by Melody Sheep? I saw that appear. I haven't watched it yet. All of Melody Sheep stuff is really cool. Okay. I would love to be able to like, because it's like mini documentary stuff. Even though I don't know how, like the things that they sometimes talk about is like a bit far out there. But that's kind of like art in a way. Like it's kind of this weird sort of medium that they're sort of working in. But yeah, it's really cool. Melody Sheep's cool. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it's fine in the play. Yeah, like he's not trying to make it a um like 100% like factual scientific documentary, but it's just kind of vibes, really, talking about these amazing big concepts and writing music to it, you know, and cool visuals and that sort of thing. God, I'd love to be able to do that. Hmm. Someone composing for games, shows, etc. Curious to know what the process goes. Do you go back and forth with the concepts and information until the client is down with it? So it depends on who you're working with, but usually it flows in a certain direction where, like, when you initially get in contact with someone, they have their own ideas, you know, or if they don't, they sort of take their time to come up with what they want. Um, and then they sort of give you, you know, I mean, a lot of the work that I do, like, say if I'm working with animations, like I do a lot of work with Alan Becker, um, they'll give me like a locked version of their picture and then sort of ideas about what they think, you know, where music should go, and what kind of music should go there. And then it's kind of like I just go and do it. It's very sort of straightforward that way. But yeah, it is a bit of back and forth. So you send drafts to make sure you've got the right vibe, that you're heading in the right direction. Um, and then you just kind of just work your way through. It's kind of like anything, I guess, where I mean, I tended to start at the beginning and work your way through the end. Depends on who you're working with, though. Some directors are very conceptual, like they won't necessarily like, particularly film. If the film hasn't been completed yet, um, you may still want to like develop musical ideas that might be developed into themes when the film actually is finally finished. Um, and in that regard, like if you think of like Hans Zimmer's relationship with um what's his name? The director did like uh Interstellar and stuff. What's his name? why do I why do I always do this? Um Someone help me. You guys know. Yeah, Christopher Nolan. Thank you very much. Their relationship is very much like, well, Nolan will come to him and say, "Okay, I'm doing a movie. I'm doing a movie, and I want you to score it." Um, but they often come to them without any images. No, and I think Nolan often tells very little about the film, other than he wants a certain, uh, you know, a theme as a theme in the film that he wants to, like, you know, like as in terms of like like a concept that he wants to capture with the music, and then Hans will have to sit down and come up with an idea to I guess pitch, um, without even knowing that what the film is, because there's a lot of things when you do come on is like when you are writing and you're writing quickly for a film, you do rely on a lot of like uh tropes, I guess, like ideas about what music fits with what kind of imagery. Like, there are a lot of that out in the world. Like if you're writing space music, it's synths, and or you might think it's big orchestral John Williams scores. I don't know, depends on who you are, but there's sort of things that you align with um, the imagery that you automatically go to, and I think often it's good to like try to disconnect those things sometimes. But yeah, it's kind of like it depends on the client, but I think a lot of back and forth that happens until you get an approval and then you send it off. With the games I've been working on, it's been quite nice experience in that like I've been given quite a lot of freedom to write things that I think are appropriate, and they have given very little feedback, which is also it's whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, I don't know, but we'll find out, I suppose. Yeah, the Alan Becker stuff can be involved, but often they do rely on me as well to like we've been working long enough together now that I know what Alan likes, and and he knows how much information to give me to get the job done. So there's very few times now where we like some of them are much more finicky than others, um but sometimes it's just he just lets me do my thing. I figure out where the important parts are that need to be highlighted in the music, and we just go with that, and he's usually pretty happy. So yeah, it's a good relationship in that regard too. Yeah, Christopher Nolan is very good. I agree. I'm interested in his new one, the Odyssey, whatever it is. Should be a hoot of a time. Freedom can also be stifling. Yeah, yeah. Sometimes having constraints is quite nice. So I agree, Daniel. Yeah. Um, but often, like with the games projects, I'm often also coming up with my own constraints. So I try to come up with kind of like a style sheet, particularly when you're doing a big, like I'm finding now when I'm doing more bigger bodies of work with these games. So like Menace is about a 90-minute score. Falling Frontier at the moment sitting around the an hour long sort of score for the currently. It'll probably expand more, but um like having these bigger scores that you're trying to make sure that they sound cohesive, I guess, and have like share a universe. Um, yeah, you sort of have to do put a bit of a constraint on what you're doing, and you're not certain rules, I guess, that you're not allowed to break. I suppose. Hmm. Let's try that. So if we do the cellos all the way down, here we are. No, that's the basses. I composed a few small songs for friends. I haven't have yet to work your way up. That's great though. That's really amazing. How we're gonna start searching for smaller projects and new music. Yeah, there's definitely a lot of indie games out there and indie film projects. I've never been really good at finding them, um, like where they hang out. That's been a horrible thing for me. But one thing I would recommend, um, is just to like put your music out there. Like put it out wherever you want to put it out. Just put it out there. That's what's worked for me. Is just having your music in the world. You never know who's listening. You never know who finds it. And I've found pretty much every gig in my life, in my music career, has come through just putting my music onto platforms, and just having it available for people to listen to. So don't hide it. You gotta share it with the world. That's what I say. And just keep on writing. Every other time should give Expedition 33 a listen. Yes, I want to play the game, so I'm really afraid to listen heavily to the music because I don't want to spoil myself. I want to hear it in context, so I need to play the game. That's what I need to do. Strings are gorgeous. I'm curious what VSTs they are. I'm using a few different ones. A lot of performance samples though these days. So these ones particularly that I was just playing is something called I think it's the Vista 2 ensemble strings. So they're kind of like a whole ensemble patch. The whole keyboard is strings. It's very, very nice. Very warm, and you can quickly write a bunch of stuff with it, which is very nice. Been using it a lot these days. But yeah, I use a lot of Vista strings. Vista strings, particularly from performance samples, has completely reshaped how I write strings for MIDI. It's been very good. It's not everyone's cup of tea though. I think a lot of people are like, Vista's, but it's like for some reason it's just really clicked with me. Really good. Azam, how you going? Good to see you. Yeah, it's been a while. Mostly my fault, I think. Hey, Pulsar, how you going? Butt chat. Oh, that's awesome chapters. Yeah, games are fun. I mean, I always wanted to be a game composer, but it's like I sort of gave up on that idea many years ago. But now, all of a sudden, it happened. Like the last year has been a lot of projects. So I think I will continue to go that way. Yeah. Yeah, you can also get like I think Austin Wintory often talks about this is that when you write with samples, you often just kind of write to the extent that your samples can manage. Um, which I'm definitely guilty of. But it's mostly because I don't have this like drive to go and get it recorded. I haven't worked on projects so far that have required me to think about what, like getting something recorded with a proper ensemble or with an orchestra or something. And so I'm always writing with samples in mind, and that this will be the final product. I'm making the recording that will be used in the end thing. So I have to make it sound as good as I can. So I have to choose, how I write it, so that it sounds the best that it can. But often when often talks about that, it's like, you sort of limit yourself because of that. And you should pay attention to Austin because he just won the Grammy for Sword of the Sea. So he knows his stuff. And I agree with him, but yeah, I'm still stuck in sample land, and that's who I am now. Because I've just got to remember that. Where's the cello? Oh, here. Yeah, agreed. Yeah. It's definitely got a sort of a slight fantasy vibe here. So we've got to bridge this section here a little bit with some ambienty things, but curious why there are empty tracks between the actual instrument tracks. It's because I've got it's just a template. So it's a lot of preloaded instruments ready to go. But quite often I don't end up using them. So there's big gaps in between, which is a bit of a pain when you're trying to navigate because it's like everything's spread out. Um, but it is what it is. What type of piece do you love writing best? Depends on the day chapter. I reckon it's all about like making sure I'm writing what I'm resonating with at that time. But I mean, definitely the more intimate, quieter tracks like this, for instance, but also like the um, more introspective, like almost neoclassical stuff, like the piano things, piano tracks with strings and things. They feel very cathartic, like they feel like it's almost like therapy for me. So I quite like writing those, but it really depends on what I'm vibing with. I might have seen something that has some big epic score, and I feel like yes, I need to do that. I need to get this out of me. I need to do something like that. Hmm. Emira, how you doing? I'm an error. Maybe that's what it is. 404. How you going? Do you use instrument tracks or always have a separate audio track for the same? I always have a separate audio track, and I don't know why. Um, I don't know why. It's just the way I've always done it. Maybe I'm weird. I mean, I love having the ability to be able uh, to also control the volume and everything on the actual track that has the VST on it. Um, so having that flexibility is good, but it does add to the mess a bit. Bring this back a bit. Fumbled that last chord there. apply any music theory when writing, or do you just pull from your heart what feels best? Mostly improvise, but I hear a lot of people saying that theory helps you grow. I think, I mean, I definitely at right now I'm just kind of doing what feels right to me. But I also acknowledge that that's probably because I've been doing it for so long, and you do pick up a lot of things. I mean, I as a kid and as a teenager, I did do a lot of music theory. I can't say that was very, good, but you do pick up a lot of things by doing formal training like that. Um, I think one thing it helped me with is actually helping me to listen more critically, um, and to be able to pull apart music that I'm listening to figure out what it's doing. Um, and so I think over the years I've been able to, apply what I've learned by doing a bit of theory, and then which underpinned a bit of my listening, that I can actually understand what's going on in the music. Um, to the point now that I've internalized a lot of stuff. So there's a lot of feeling kind of flowing through me when I'm writing, when I'm sort of improvising, is that I can follow sort of things that I've internalized over the years, and so it feels very, very natural to me. But I've also recognized that it's like because I've I guess I've done a lot of listening and a bit of theory. I can't say I've done a ton of theory, and I can't tell you necessarily all the things that I'm doing. Like, obviously I'm doing a lot of cadences here to try and suspend the feeling of resolution till right till the end there. I'm doing that in a way that sort of, you know, it's keeping things on edge until that final moment. There's clearly names and terms for doing that, and like this, I could name, you can figure out the name of the chord and everything like that, but I'm not thinking about that. I'm just kind of just vibing. I'm just vibing here, guys. So it's kind of like, yeah, knowing a bit of theory, I think, does help, but I think actively thinking about it, I think it's something you don't do in the moment. I think, at least for me, it's something that it's a tool that you use to sort of maybe understand other people's works, but then you sort of internalize it. Particularly the way we write, like now, where we're using samples and you just kind of jive. And I think maybe it comes more into play when you're doing. Maybe you can correct me if I'm wrong, Kenneth, but like if you're working with lexical notation, like working, with notes on a page, maybe it's a bit more important because I feel like there's less feedback, because you get this audible feedback where you're playing this chord, and it sounds like a suspended fourth, and I don't always recognize that when I see when I'm writing something on notes. I think theory is something you should learn, and eventually it's internalized so you don't have to actively utilize it. Yeah, okay. Like learning to read and write before writing novels. Like learning about forms, color theory, perspective. That's a really good way to put it, I think, Kenneth. Yeah. Yeah. So it's something you should probably learn, but like so that you can, you know, internalize it. Hmm. Yeah, great analogy, Kenneth. Yeah. Vibe composing, that's what we're doing here. Like I heard a lot about whiskey tasters, but it wasn't until I went to Scotland and drank all the different types every day, almost did I start to develop that taste or skill. Right, right. Like you actually start to notice differences, and sort of it takes time. Yeah. Hmm. What would I call? What do you think you'll call this? I have no idea. We're talking about this before chapters. Like I'm horrible with naming things. So if you've got a name for it, I'll think about it. Water. That's a thought. Yeah. Okay. Okay, maybe cut this here. Plum Tardigrade. Not sure how I ended up here, but loving the score. Thanks, man. Great name, by the way. I love a plump tardigrade. So I don't know, watching big fans. Cool. Hello. How you doing? Hmm. Oh yeah, I'll take that. I love Dario. His work is awesome. Yeah, we're keeping it very chill today. This is it's very rare for me to not like just take it into a big, much bigger sweeping back end, and I'm proud of myself. I'm making the next PS6 console background music. Yeah, sure. Okay. You think Sony would be happy with just very chill, chill fantasy music? The Bee Man, how you going? Hello. Ah, okay. Checking in from Michigan. How you doing? I hope you're doing all right. These gongs are not quite right. Maybe we need a something else. Help bridge this sort of glue these sections together somehow. Problem with like writing in chunks is that you sort of make whatever you did last time glue with whatever you did this time. Need something that's much quieter though. Ah, need to go through my percussion stuff again. Find some really soft cymbal sustains, I think. This is quite a different, but a bit of difference from 2 hours of hardcore techno. Flying Maxi. Out of curiosity, Greg Gloom says he uses music in videos in his latest post. Um, you have a delicious strawberry? What? So random. Can you tell me what songs he's? I actually don't know. There's a lot of people who use my music, so I don't think they've ever reached out to say that they do. But I mean, if you ever like, if you send me a video link, I could probably figure it out. I am on Spotify, yes. You just search Scott Buckley. I will be there. I will be there. Mm-hmm. Actually, if I can plug the Menace thing again, it'll have my link. A link to the page where you can pre-save my upcoming album for my soundtrack for Menace. Go do it. Go get it. Yeah, it's coming out on Thursday. But yeah, then you can jump to my page from there. The gloomy dark kind. I've got a few of those, so it's hard to know which one exactly. Hmm. Da, 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 da. I love the sessions where you're editing and layering new tracks on existing foundation, but I love to see from the very beginning. So this track I've only I've only this one I've only done on stream, I think. So if you go onto my YouTube page, and to the live videos, I have to go back and label things, but so it gets a bit unclear which tracks are what. But the last 2 streams plus this one is all me writing this track. So you can actually see from the beginning, where I started, and then see the whole thing sort of pan out. I don't think I've done any of this track off stream so far, and we've pretty much hit the end now. So yeah. So feel free to go back and watch those. It's, in total will be about 9 hours of me writing music and sitting here twiddling away. So I don't know if you're up for that, but feel free. Is it easy to start a new piece or to add to the shell around a theme? I mean, it's very hard to start new stuff, particularly on stream. It's very challenging. You got eyes judging you, but oh, awesome, Daphne, thank you. So it is nice to have something to start with. Sometimes I will try and like make a start on a library track off stream, just so I don't have that pressure. But it is nice to have something to work off, like some sort of theme. That's why I kind of like if I'm working on a game or like something that has existing themes, like it's actually a good starting point to like sort of riff around, because it gives you a bit of a framework. But just starting at something out of the blue can be really tough. But sometimes it also is something in you. Something in you that wants to get out, and then sometimes it's easy. But you never really know. Some days I feel like I'm ready to write something. I'm on board, and then I sit down and it's like, this actually wasn't as interesting as I thought it was going to be. Oh well, never mind. It's rare that I walk away from a track, but it has happened a couple of times. Is it okay if you post that link for you to check out? Yeah, sure. I'll click on it and check it out. Where's the brass? Hello? Oh no, I haven't clicked on it properly. So we'll do that. Cut event only. Okay. We don't need the volume to go that low either. YouTube deleted it? Oh no. Not sure how to share a link if YouTube won't let me. Fair enough. Well, I'm sorry, buddy. Automating volume. Just adding, so I do kind of do like two passes of dynamics. So when I'm playing in the instruments, I'm usually using, I can't really see it, but I'm using the mod wheel here to like play dynamics that are sort of embedded in the sample. But then I usually go over things again with a lot of envelopes, kind of really just fine tuning the dynamics and the expression. There is other ways to do it. I just do it this way. I just kind of fiddle with everything. Big volume nerd. Maybe do that, British. Yeah, that might be an idea. Maybe choose what's the latest one, Starfire. Put it in there, and I'll keep an eye out for it. See you, Plump. Thanks for hanging out. Nice to meet you. Maybe next time, hey? Headley, how you going? Many of you are commenting on, yeah, it's nice, isn't it? It's nice that people like my music. This is nuts. Very nuts. Thank you everyone for liking my music. I appreciate it. Absolutely, Vavne. That'd be great. That'd be very cool. For other game OST producers, like, yeah, absolutely. I love Jason Graves. He's wonderful in that he shares so much of his work, like um his workflow and how he goes about approaching things. He's so good, so really cool. I love Austin Wintory as well for that as well, and for his music. And Austin won the Grammy this just recently. I'm a big fan of Will Roger as well. Um, I've sort of been acquainted with him for many years. Um, One day I'd like to meet him in person. It'd be really cool. Um, and he's been killing it the last couple of years. Like he scored for like Helldivers and for Outlaws. Such good stuff. Very cool. And Gordy Harb does all the Star Wars stuff. For the like Indiana Jones was amazing. Yeah, some good folks out there. Yeah, and Jess was great. Done some good stuff. Awesome, British. Cool. I'll check out the link. Okay, I'm gonna try this drone. try this drone. That's a weird sort of intimate jitteriness. Would I ever join forces with Kevin MacLeod? Well, maybe if he was up for it. The king of royalty-free music. Do I have sleeping albums? No, I don't, but I probably could piece one together from stuff that I've written. Um, I would actually kind of like to write one. I don't know if do you guys know, so Max Richter? He's like a, famous composer, modern composer. He did an album, like an 8 hour album literally called Sleep. And it's essentially just 8 hours of this beautiful, very, very repetitive, but like in a way that's like magical to like just drift off to. Like it's designed. I think he wrote it for his son who had trouble sleeping, or well, I don't know exactly what the story was, but essentially this 8 hour work. And it would have been one of these interesting ones where, like, I remember they did a performance at the Sydney Opera House, where they played for 8 hours straight. He rocked up in the evening. You got a little, like a mattress to sleep on, and you actually went to sleep, listening to them perform Sleep. It would have been a pretty unique experience, I think. But yeah, check it out. He's actually got the album on Spotify. So if you're after a good sleep album, highly recommend that one. I'd love to do my own kind of version of that, I think. Maybe not 8 hours long. It's a lot of music. Oh, cool, Cactus Puppy. Nice. I'll take that. Yeah, I've actually not listened to the Horizon Zero Dawn score. It's one of those games because there's a lot of PlayStation games where I've never played because I don't have a PlayStation, and I need to get one. Oh, where's my chest? There we go. Although I think Horizon, like Zero Dawn's now on PC now, but I guess I could play it. What BPM is this? It's like 80, I believe. That's what it says. Very, very, very slowly performed 80. OSTs can be all over the place, though. Really doesn't. Really depends. Would ever consider doing lo-fi music? Uh, yeah. I feel like I wouldn't be very good at it. I need to something I would need to get a bit better at because it's definitely not it's not in my normal style. It's not my normal style, I guess. So sometimes takes a bit of time. Have I listened to the Legend of Zelda soundtracks? Absolutely. That was something that some of the main things to propel my composing. Absolutely. Actually, I've got something for you. If you haven't listened to it yet, so I've got in various places, I guess. But I did an album um of Zelda arrangements, so you might enjoy it. It was really fun to make. I thought I need to mention it. I might as well share it. But yeah, that was really fun. It's a really good sort of deep, fun experience to go in and like reinvent these themes and play around with them. It's really good experience. Hey, thank you for the bits, British. How you doing? The other British Gaming Black. Thank you for the 10. Thank you very much. So like today, I'm plugging all my albums at the moment. It's been one of those days. Thanks, chapters. I put a lot of love into that one. I really love going and like playing around with these particularly the old ones, like the ones that very much like it was much harder to do anything with like the Breath of the Wild or Tears of the Kingdom, and I just kind of left it as is, sadly. Like it was hard to do. Breath of the Wild, I did that a little bit, but not a great deal. It's just perfect, kind of as it is. But some of the older ones, it was like because they're using much different sound sets, much older samples, and had a lot more freedom to like, you know, reinvent them a bit. What song of yours do you find the most beautiful or emotional? Good question, Knoxville. I don't know. I think the ones that still stick in my mind are things like "I Walk with Ghosts" or "This Too Shall Pass." They're kind of like you know, the classic like pandemic songs. You know, sort of embody a bit of that, you know, weird weird vibe that we were sort of going through at that time. Hey Jay, welcome back. Reminds you of Journey? I'll take that. I'll take that any day. Yeah, absolutely, Daphne. Untouchable. When I finish this, will I post on Spotify? Yes, I will. British, absolutely will. It'll be there. Might be a couple of weeks though, so you just have to hang in there. Hmm. Exactly, Jay. Yes. Good night, Jay. Thanks for dropping back in though. I am nearly done too, I think. We're gonna have to stop and have some lunch. Cool. We made it to the end, everyone. Do a little bit of cleaning up after stream, but I think it's done. I think it's enough. May revisit the opening section as well a little bit to see if there's anything sort of missing. But that is the body of it, I think, which is great. Very happy. Everyone, I might call it there. I'm gonna go find some food, have some lunch. Don't know what I feel like today. But thank you for hanging out with me today. It's been nice. It's been good. Now, just a reminder, last chance to... oh, no, that's not going to work. I haven't got that working in... oh, no, I can't type. Ah! Oh, my God. There we go. I did it. Just sharing. Mess is coming out. It's going to be available very soon. On Thursday, February 5. And the game is also going to be available too. The soundtrack will be there. And you can listen to it. Have a great week, guys. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for getting me through, getting this track finished. No worries from. Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it was great hanging out with you, Daphne, and British too. Um, yeah, I'm always here every Tuesday. We'll chat. If you got questions, just need support. This is all available, all available. But have a great week, guys. Enjoy. Take it easy. Don't do anything crazy. And I'll see you next week. Actually, depending on how it goes, I may do a game stream on Twitch later this week, playing Menace. So that could be a thing. We'll see how it goes. But I'll keep you posted. Until then, have a good one, guys. Catch you next time. Bye.